How is economic regulation enforced? Have you ever wondered how economic regulation actually works in our daily lives? Economic regulation is enforced through a mix of legal, administrative, and institutional methods. These methods ensure that market activities follow the established rules and standards. In a capitalist system, where markets are key to economic growth and development, enforcing regulation is vital. It protects property rights, ensures fair competition, and upholds contracts. At its core, enforcement involves protecting property rights and limiting excessive market power. Laws define what legitimate ownership is and restrict monopolistic behaviors that can distort markets. Contracts between parties must be honored, and courts or regulatory bodies enforce these agreements. This ensures trust and predictability in economic transactions. Several key institutions play a role in this enforcement process. First, legislatures create the legal frameworks that define regulations. They specify what is allowed and what is prohibited in economic activities. Next, administrative agencies implement and monitor compliance with these regulations. They have the authority to inspect, investigate, and impose penalties when violations occur. Finally, judicial courts interpret laws and resolve disputes, including enforcing contracts and handling cases of regulatory noncompliance. Enforcement is not a one-time event. It evolves over time. Legislative amendments, court rulings, and changes in administrative rules reflected shifting economic conditions and social values. In practice, enforcement can take different forms. There is direct government enforcement, where regulatory agencies actively monitor and sanction firms or individuals who break the rules. Co-regulation is another method, where the government and private sector share enforcement responsibilities. For example, companies might need to create their own compliance programs, which the government then approves and oversees. Self-regulation is also common, where firms establish internal rules and compliance mechanisms. Government agencies ensure these efforts are transparent and intervene when necessary. The allocation of enforcement resources and the severity of penalties are key to effective regulation. However, challenges often arise, such as limited resources and the influence of powerful economic actors. Wealthy corporations can use legal expertise to their advantage, creating an uneven playing field compared to smaller businesses or individuals. From a capitalist viewpoint, enforcing economic regulation is essential for maintaining efficient markets and sustainable economic growth. Proper enforcement protects property rights and contracts, which are foundational for investment and innovation. It also prevents abuses of market power that could harm competition and consumer welfare. Effective enforcement mechanisms support the functioning of capitalism by balancing freedom for enterprise with rules that ensure fairness and stability. Economic regulation is enforced through a network of laws, agencies, and courts that protect property, enforce contracts, and limit market abuses. This enforcement is vital for upholding the institutional foundations of capitalism, allowing markets to operate efficiently and contribute to economic development.